Falsely thoughts, race, life's a twisted place. No time to erase.
Let's go with what you're saying. Let's say it does date around Jesus' time. So what?
It's not just blood on the shroud. It's a photographic negative, as if like a bright light or a photograph was taken, but we know there wasn't photography during that time period. So it can only be as described, Jesus resurrecting, coming back from the dead.
No, not really.
Okay, how do you get a photographic negative in that time period?
It might not have been even a photographic negative. That like blood still like lives after a long time.
Yeah, it's blood, but it's not all blood. That's what I'm saying. It's not just blood on there.
I'm gonna have to look.
The majority of it is not
Right,
blood.
I'm gonna have to look more into this because I'm pretty sure it's a lot more complicated than what you're trying to say. But like the Shroud of Turin is still not very convincing. Why does that convince you?
Well, it convinces me because for one, I don't need anything physical to bring me to Christ, but it's nice having something to support it. As in, like you can't make a photographic negative in that time period, and the fact that we have something like that to show us proof of him resurrecting, I think that speaks a lot.
It's not really a photographic negative though.
But it's not just blood on there. How do you get the picture? Because it's like someone took a bright light against it.
I mean, you could
Flash.
like I'm telling you right now. I don't know. I have
That's
no
what I'm
idea,
saying.
but that's not convincing.
Yeah, no one has any idea.
No, I'm
And I think
pretty sure.
that's-
I'm pretty sure people do have an idea. I'll have to look more into the research. But like, I'm just saying right now, it's not really convincing.
Okay. Next instance of Christ. I'm sure you've probably heard the argument that how the world is complex and balanced, and people seeing things that are complex and balanced only really comes from life. Life comes from life. You can't. I've never seen life come from death or come from inanimate objects before. How do we have the world as we have it today without a complex mind behind it bringing us here?
I have no idea what you're trying to say.
I'm saying, so you'll never bring me an instance of life, living things coming from inanimate objects, coming from nothing, coming out of thin air. How do we get to the position that we are in here today without a creator, without a God, without a starting point?
Life can be emergent.
So
Actually, hold on. Give me
everything in the
1
universe-
second. Give me 1 second. Hey, subordinate. You said you had wanted to say something about the Shroud of Turin.
yeah, so I mean, my answer for this would be everything in the universe is entropy. Everything's just moving around in it.
All right, hold on. Because I don't want to do a
But-
panel thing. But like the Shroud of Turin. What were you saying about that?
I'm saying it's like the idea of religion in Christianity or whatever is that you can't disprove it. Like you can't. So
All right.
like that's-
give me a few minutes. Give me a few minutes then. Give me a few minutes. All right. Yeah. So when you say that how did everything came to be, life in the universe could just be emergent. It doesn't necessarily need a creator for anything.
Okay, but even if this is an infinite loop or whatever, it has to come from a starting point. There has to be a starting point for life. Life
Even if-
has to come from something.
Even if there was a starting point, like as you say, that doesn't necessarily make it a creative force.
Okay, so how do you get to a starting point from nothing? Nothing comes from nothing.
Who said nothing?
Life comes from something. Life comes from life.
Nothing can create nothing. Of course, nothing can create nothing. No one says nothing exists.
So,
Nothingness is
I
not a
mean,
thing.
even in the Bible, God said that he was like he always existed. There was no beginning or anything. Like, which is the same as what scientists say about the universe.
Yeah, nothingness can exist. There is no such thing as nothing. So where are we trying to get at?
I'm trying to get at the point of, I mean, even down to the way your body's built, even down to the way the water flows, the way we have oxygen and nitrogen to
What about it?
give us the air we breathe.
What about it?
Everything's balanced, and balance comes from life.
No, everything's not balanced.
I mean, again, we have a stable Earth. It's balanced.
It's not
That's what
stable.
I'm saying. A universe.
The Earth is not stable. The Earth rotates on a precession every 6,000 years. That's why the Sahara is a desert right now. Because 6,000 years ago it
But-
wasn't.
No, yes. that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about balance, not as in the sense that you're thinking of. I'm talking about balance as in the ability to have life here on Earth, the ability to have a habitable planet.
Doesn't say anything.
To have
That doesn't mean anything though.
it does, because I mean, you have to have a creating hands behind this. You can't have
No,
a
you don't.
design without a designer.
No, you don't.
You can't have a
Hold on, wait.
So
Stop.
everything in the
Hold, wait,
universe works
pause. Everybody
off
pause.
of entropy. Like if you
Right.
if you look
Right,
into
pause real quick.
chemistry,
Subordinate, pause.
everything is
Hold
just
on, subordinate, pause for me real quick.
random part.
Subordinate, pause me real quick.
Yeah,
Pause
what's
me
up?
real quick. Pause me real quick. All right, give me a second, all right? Because this is why I kind of like everybody go one on one. All right, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, what's your name? Search. This is what I'm trying to say. All right. When it comes to saying that, you know, when you say design needs a designer, you need to actually show that this universe was designed first.
Okay, so again, like the beauty of waterfalls, the beauty of
That doesn't mean it was
of
designed.
bee coming down and collecting pollen.
That
the
doesn't
beauty of
mean
the
it was
earth.
designed. Yes, nature is
It's a-
very pretty. That doesn't mean it was designed.
Yes, and it has a balance to it as well.
No, it doesn't.
Things cancel each other out. Yes, it does. You have the predator and the prey, but they never one never completely consumes the other. You know,
That,
you have
that actually does happen sometimes. Like
you
we've
get my
done it.
point. We have life here.
Yeah, life does not mean that the universe was designed or that we were. Existence does not mean that anything was designed. Beauty is like the nature is beautiful. Life is amazing. Existence is a mystery, and it's a great mystery. That doesn't mean it was designed.
Well, yes, it does. I mean,
How,
you're
tell me how.
even
How, though?
even your body's designed to
Stop. Tell me how.
Okay, even down to your ligaments and your bones, the connections between that and the
None of that
muscles
means it was
allow you to
designed,
kick
bro.
a football.
None of that means it was designed, bro. I know exactly
So
what you're.
this
I know
just
exactly what you're saying.
things just happen
Hold on,
by
hold on. The reason why I keep interrupting is because I know exactly what you're gonna say. None of this means it was designed. Yes, it's very intricate. It's very pretty. It's very nice to look at. It's amazing. Like that nature was able to do this. Doesn't mean it was designed. Doesn't mean it's a deliberate design of something else. Because let me ask you a question. How many universes do we have?
We don't know.
Okay. How many universes can you explore?
This one,
Can you go to another universe and explore that one?
no.
So how did you determine that this one was designed and another one isn't? What are you comparing it to?
Well, no one's saying that there can't be the existence of other ones that can also be designed, but even that one needs a designer. That's what
Why?
I'm saying. We have a starting point. We have a designer.
But what I'm saying is, are you saying that it has to have one? And you're not explaining why it does. You're just saying it has to have one because it's pretty. So
Well, no, it has, because you don't get designs from you don't get beauty from
how do you know this
from
was a
nothing.
design?
You have to show me an example of life coming from inanimate objects then.
What are you
'Cause
talking
this is
about?
what
No one
I've
says that.
experienced. We have life here.
No one says
life
that.
comes from life.
No one says that. So what are you talking about?
Well, no, I'm saying life comes from life.
Right. But we actually can get organic materials from inorganic materials. That's been done before. Have you ever seen the Miller-Urey experiment?
No.
The Miller-Urey experiment has took like inorganic matter and simulated the billions of years ago on Earth, where it was just like hot matter and electricity and stuff like that, and we actually did get organic molecules from that. And we know that the building blocks of life are basically organic, like nucleic acids, and we did find nucleic acids in that experiment. So again, life
Carbon
can simply
is-
be emergence. Yeah, life can simply be an emergent property. It doesn't have to be anything designed.
And again, even that was created by, again, God.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that you actually have to show that to be true, and you haven't.
Well, because faith is a big part of the journey.
And
That's a
faith
big
is
part of it.
unreliable for truth.
What do you mean faith is unreliable for truth?
Can you?
There are many things that you
Can
believe.
you take? Can you
that when you
take
get in
something?
your car, it's not gonna
Can
explode.
you take something on faith and be 100% wrong about it?
Can you take something on? Of course, that's the nature of faith, is being
Right.
you
So
can
it's
be
not
right.
reliable. You need evidence. The reason why I think my car is gonna start is because I have evidence that it's gonna start. If every time if there was time where I tried to start my car and it didn't start, and then the next day it did, and the next day after that it didn't, that would actually give me evidence that my car is not reliable, wouldn't it?
So would you never drive your car again?
Right. I'll probably
Would
want
you
to.
never drive any cars ever again?
I'll try to get another one, or I'll try to get one that's more reliable, that starts every
Okay,
time.
how do you know that car won't blow up when you get in it? That's what I'm saying. You have
Because
to
it does-
trust things every day.
Yeah,
Every day you trust
yeah. Of course, you have to trust things. What I'm saying is that you just don't have faith in them because faith doesn't carry evidence, does it?
Even philosophically, like you're thinking about, why would you bet on there not being a God instead of picking, like saying that
That's
you want
Pascal's
to have,
wager, friend.
Sorry.
That's Pascal's wager.
Yeah. Why would you put your eggs in the basket of not having a God, and then there is a God and you miss out on it, or
Which one?
Alternative, falling into Christianity and falling into, or even falling into.
So which one should I believe in?
Or,
So which one should I believe in? Because there's thousands.
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that philosophically, it doesn't make
Kinda
sense
does.
to be atheist.
No, philosophically
What
it does
sense
make
does it make
sense.
to be atheist?
Philosophically it does make sense because you shouldn't believe things unless you have evidence for it.
But again, okay, so it's faith based. Say you get there to the end and there is God waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. You didn't even bet on any horse at all.
Yeah, I didn't because he didn't give me evidence for me to believe it.
He did. He left you the Bible. He's going to tell you he left you, like.
Why should I
evidence of
believe
his
the
existence
why should I
for
believe
passing
the
terms.
why should I believe the Bible and not the Bhagavad Gita?
This is just an example. I'm saying any God. Imagine getting to that light at the end of the tunnel.
So I should be
and
Hindu?
saying that having to come up empty.
So I should be Hindu?
You should be. I think that it makes no sense to be to not have a religion at all. That's what, I don't care what religion you
No,
pick. I'm just saying
it does make sense because none of them have proven their case. A holy book doesn't prove anything.
Well, it's not just the holy book. It's
It's
more
the
to it.
prettiness of nature. The prettiness of nature doesn't prove anything
the
either, bro.
The balance of life. So yes, the balance of life.
Life ain't
the
balanced.
Bible,
The earth tries to unalive us all the time.
and has it.
Yeah. There was an earthquake in 2010 in my parents' home
no, that's
country
not what I'm talking
that
about. I'm talking
unalived
about
200,000
all of
people, my
us.
friend.
No, I'm talking about all of life just going kaput.
I mean, no, that hasn't happened, but nature has done that.
Exactly.
Nature has done that before with the dinosaurs, didn't they?
Yeah, sure. The dinosaurs.
Yeah, and the same could happen to us with any type of disease. Any type of disease that we're not ready for could take us all out.
A man-made disease could take us all out. It's not. It wouldn't be.
No, a natural one could take us all out.
Well, just like a nuke could take us all out. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that life is
A
balanced.
nuke is not nature. A nuke is not the balance of life. A nuke is humans and their own greed.
Right, but there are diseases that can take us out. We're not completely immune to all diseases.
Manufactured that could take us out.
Not just
It
a
could be anything.
manufactured one. There could be a natural one that takes us all out because our immune system is not ready for it.
But again, every time that we've experienced widespread diseases, we've overcome.
Yeah, because of human ingenuity, not because of a miracle.
Again, because God tests us every time. God tests us every.
Can
every
you
single
show
day.
this God exists without appealing to nature?
Through the Bible, what you see every day, it's a faith-based thing. I can't show you faith. I can't give you faith.
All
You
right,
have to have
faith is
every day.
unreliable for truth. I might as well believe in Zeus. Because the Greeks had faith in Zeus, right? Is Zeus real?
Sure. No, Zeus is not real.
Exactly. So they had faith in that. So why should I have faith in that? Exactly what you're saying.
Why would you choose one God over the other? Is the point you're making?
Why would I choose any God based on nothing?
Well, I'm saying just philosophically, it doesn't make sense to not pick a God at all.
Why? There's no reason for me to pick one.
In the event that God does exist, then what happens to you?
In the event that Santa Claus doesn't exist, are you gonna put out cookies?
Santa Claus isn't relevant to this.
Yeah, he
There's nothing to
is.
do with Santa Claus. No, it's not. How?
Because you're saying, oh, just in case there's a God out there. All right, just in case Santa Claus exists, are you gonna put out cookies in December?
Well, no, because Santa Claus is man-made.
Yeah, and so are a lot of these gods.
Yes, but again, there are religions that have lasted the test of time and have tied back to each other. Also, the existence of similar stories, similar elements in across holy books is another evidence of there being a higher being. Whether you want to ascribe to
The
Jesus
holy
Christ
books of the holy books of the Hindus, they contradict your holy books. The holy books of Shintoism contradict the holy
Well,
books of
there's again,
Hinduism
there's
and
older,
hold
there's
on,
older
hold on,
holy
hold
books.
on, hold on, hold on. The holy books of other religions all contradict yours, and they're older than yours. So why should I take those?
No, I'm saying that there are other holy books older than that that tie back to Christianity, that tie
Which
back to
one?
each other, that all have instances of
Which
each other. So,
one?
example, I haven't fully read it, but I know that the Quran has similar stories. I think it's one of a flood in there.
The Quran is
Um,
after Christianity, though.
it also it's a holy book that ties back to the Bible. There's another one.
I understand that, but it's after Christianity. What I'm saying about is that
Okay, well,
there are
okay,
religions
what
that
about
are
the Torah?
older than yours.
What about the Torah?
Hinduism is older than the Torah. Hinduism is the oldest religion on the planet. It existed 2,000 years before Abraham. So why should I take that one as the truth?
By who?
What do you mean by who?
Who wrote the what's the Hindu book name?
Bhagavad Gita. The Indians wrote it. The ancient Indus, in the Indus Valley civilization, they wrote it. It came from there. The Indus Valley civilization existed. I think it was the first civilization, if I'm not mistaken. And not only that, ancient Greek religion existed for
Well, no,
3,000 years before Christianity came on board.
Yes, so yeah, but the thing is, between those two books is ancient Greeks and Hinduism is they try to explain things that are natural occurrences that we already have explained through creating characters to describe them. And also same thing with the Egyptian tales. They see things like lightning, for example, and create Zeus because they don't understand where lightning comes from.
Right. What I'm saying is that the same thing happened with Yahweh because Yahweh was a storm and war deity for the ancient Israelites. So the same thing happened with him.
Again, I haven't read any other holy books other than the Bible. I'm giving you examples that I know there are stories in the same. For example, the Great Flood, and we have evidence of the Great Flood.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Like what?
I think his name's something Graham. He goes on a podcast and talks about the evidence that we have of the Great Flood.
Yeah, he's an idiot. There is no evidence of the Great Flood. He's just making
Well,
stuff up.
yes. Well, no, yes, there is because he goes out and
Like
finds
what?
it was a land sample. He got a soil sample
Mm-hmm.
and tested it.
So
I'll bring it back if I can pull it up. I might teacup and find it. But there's
Where-
evidence of a
where-
great
where
flood
did water
that's
go?
Also evidence in.
So where did the water go?
What do you mean? Where did the water go?
Where did the water go? There's not enough water on this planet to fill everywhere, even in vapor form. There's not enough water on Earth right now to fill all the lands to the highest mountains. There's not enough.
By in
Are you
each
saying
and
there's a
every
world-
story, it says by
Are you
way
saying
of
there's a
miracles. So
are you
example-
saying there's a worldwide flood or localized?
No, worldwide. So, and in
Yeah,
each
that's
and every
BS.
one of these stories, mind you, there's 3 stories that all evidence of a great flood, and
When was-
it all goes away in each one of those stories.
Let me
by
ask you a
God.
question. When was the Great Flood supposed to happen?
Before Christ, at the start of man, at the start of man.
What does that mean? Like how many years ago?
I don't have an exact date.
All right. So
Some of them conflict on dates too,
all right.
but they all
So
have evidence of it happening.
all right. Who has evidence of it happening? Is what I'm saying. Why
Oh, I know.
does
So Christianity has the story of Moses and
Moses
I
didn't
think that-
exist? But let's stick on the Great Flood for a second. When was the Great Flood supposed to happen? Like what date was it supposed to be? Like 6,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago? When was it supposed to happen?
I don't have a date.
Okay, so how do we know it actually happened then if we don't even know when it's supposed to happen?
Because comparing soil samples from thousands of years back, I think it was I think his name's Alexander Graham. No, not Alexander, something Graham. I'm forgetting his name. But he goes back and tests soil samples himself to determine when the Great Flood was.
All right, but soil samples doesn't give us any type of indication. It could be just a flood in that area. It doesn't mean that it was a flood across the planet. If there was a flood across the planet, then we will find the same thing, the same type of like a rock strata or flooding sediment in different parts of the world at the same levels, and we don't find that.
Yeah, so he found it. He went to Egypt and did it, and he also did it in the Americas as well.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that there could have been a flood in that area. That doesn't mean there was a flood everywhere around the same time. Are you saying that the story of Noah was 100% true? Like all the animals were in the ark and all that other good stuff.
Yes.
So how did the penguins get back to Antarctica?
By when so when God let down the storm, Moses sort of allowed them to go where they wanted. We had a different Earth was a little bit different back then.
And what evidence do we have of that?
Tectonic plate shifting.
The tectonic plates shift only 5 centimeters a year.
Yes, and this is.
So you're saying this happened 100 million years ago?
You can say 100 million years ago.
Okay, if the tectonic plates shift only 5 centimeters a year, 2,000 years
Yes.
ago,
So
2,000. Hold
yeah,
on,
but how long
wait.
would it take to
If
get
the tectonic plates shift only 5 centimeters a year, 2,000 years ago, they only would have been a mile apart.
Okay, so think about coming from being on a massive ship, and mind you, humans lived longer back then. We're talking about living on a massive ship and traveling from, and we also found evidence of Noah's Ark as well.
No, we haven't.
From the North Pole to the South Pole.
No,
do.
we haven't.
We have wood from Noah's Ark.
No, we don't. I'm talking about Ron Wyatt. He's lying about that. Even Christians say that Ron Wyatt lied. He doesn't have proof of that.
You're gonna have to show me that. We have.
Yeah, go to Answers in
dates
Gen-
back to the-
Yeah, go to answersingenesis.com.
back.
Even they admitted that Ron Wyatt is lying. And not only that, like why is Noah's Ark believable but not the Epic of Gilgamesh? Actually, let's go back to the beginning. Why how did penguins get back to Antarctica? Because Antarctica would have only been a mile away from where it is right now 2,000 years ago. Okay, so the flood was supposed to happen 2,000 years ago. That's what you're saying? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000?
Sure.
Okay, so if the flood was 4,000 years ago, why do we have civilizations existing before that time, through that time, and after that time with no interruption?
No, I just went along with your day. I know that we've had civilizations that created the pyramids. I think that was maybe 10,000 years ago. I'm not sure. When
About
they did the
about
pyramids.
6 to 7,000 years ago. So was the flood 10,000 years ago?
Well, it was at the start of man. Was the point I was making?
At the start of man. So when did what does at the start of man mean? How many years ago was that?
So we're talking just after Adam and Eve.
So
We're
how many years
talking-
ago was that?
I don't have a number for you.
All right. Well, all right. So if we don't know when this is supposed to happen, how do we know this even happened? Because
No, I don't know when this was supposed to happen. There are other people who do know what's supposed to happen, and I'm not trying to make an appeal to authority, but I wish I had like my computer in front of me so I could.
but
give
the
you
thing
dates
is,
for
all
it.
the dates that people come up with, we have civilizations existing before then, through then, and after then, with no interruption.
Well, no, I'm saying it happened before those civilizations.
And how
This is
do
like
we
the
know
start
that?
of man.
Because before those civilizations existed, we do have evidence of prehistory and humans being around in prehistory before things were written down, and we see no evidence of a worldwide flood at that time either.
No, none of this. So what I'm saying is what I'm saying is Adam and Eve, right? We have a family tree. We have a family tree of when life started and when life how we got to where we are now.
Yeah, but we don't, because we know that incest automatically leads to destruction of your genes.
Well, that would also lead to say our genes were stronger back then, and that's why you have stories of people who lived hundreds of years.
So we have magic genes.
No, we don't. I'm saying that we've been watered down.
But what evidence is there of that? Because we're actually living longer now than we did in medieval times. We're taller now. We're
Because of
healthier
modern
now.
science. Because of modern science, we shouldn't be, but because of modern science, we are. But what I'm saying is, we were able to live hundreds of years at the start of man,
What evidence do we have of that?
according to the Bible. The Bible.
That's a claim. That's not evidence.
Moses lived to be like 600 years in the Bible.
Okay, two things. That's a claim, not evidence. And number two, Moses didn't exist.
What evidence do you have that Moses didn't exist?
Jewish scholars themselves admit that he didn't exist.
Jewish scholars themselves aren't Christians. I'm talking about.
But Moses is a
Christianity.
Jewish figure. He's an Israelite.
I don't know much about Judaism, but I'm talking about strictly off of what's in the Bible.
Right. And that part of the Bible is part of the Hebrew Bible. So Moses is what was an Israelite, and he's a Hebrew figure. So Jewish scholars would know about their own history, right? And they've all said that this is just a foundation myth. Moses didn't exist. The story of the Exodus didn't happen because
Who's
there's
they all said?
what happened?
Who's they all said, and what argument do they make? Who's they all said, and what
The argument that they
Why do you
make,
pick and
the
choose?
argument that they make is archaeological evidence. If you look at Egyptology, there's no record of the Israelites ever being in Egypt, like at all. Like there's even a contradiction in the Bible where they mention that the Exodus was supposed to happen around some time of Ramses, and they actually mention which temple was built around that time. And when we actually look at archaeology, that temple was built 200 years after they said it was.
Yeah,
Am I connected?
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I'm connected again. All right, cool. All right, we actually gonna have to move on because we've already been on for about 25 minutes, but I do appreciate you being up here. All right, Shwarshi, we're gonna go ahead and move on, guys.